Welcome into another edition of Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery. Today on the show, it's Ronnie versus Freddie. Ding, ding, ding. Three things the Falcons must improve on this season. And we'll talk about Masters, day one in the books. What an unbelievable round for Tiger Woods. It's all part of Hitting Hard on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We welcome you in. It is our first full week here on Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on the Locked On Sports Atlanta network, and so glad you could be a part of it. We ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, review us, tell us what you think out there. Make sure to download the audio, listen to us in all the different platforms, so don't miss anything as part of the show. We are finishing up our first full week here on the show. Lots of exciting things going on. I want to tell you about my friends because they sponsor the show today. BetOnline.net. Now, look, last night was opening night in Major League Baseball. You got all kinds of games going on, a few rain and snow and weather delays and all the good kind of stuff, but so many baseball games that are going on. And oh yeah, as we mentioned, first round of the Masters in the books. You can still do your betting online. Your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information is Bet Online. If you go to betonline.net, you can get all the latest odds, all the different contests they got going on, all the player props, all kinds of good information there. And remember, with baseball, you got basketball, you got golf, you got all kinds of Vegas casino games, live betting, all sorts of different platforms that you can get mixed up in. So you don't feel like you have a feel on the NBA, get over to Major League Baseball. Don't feel like you have a feel there? Hey, we got the Masters golf tournament going on all weekend. So it's not too late to get involved in all of this. Head over to the website, betonline.net. Use your mobile device to learn about the trends and the actions and everything that's going on. Bet Online, where the game starts. Oh, well, today on the show, we have some drama within the Braves with one player not playing and one former playing. It's Ronnie versus Freddie. Ding, 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 in the battle of the soul for the Atlanta Braves, right? Oh, boy. So Ronald Acuna Jr. went on Instagram Live with a reporter the other night, and he said some things. He was asked about Freddie Freeman. Are you going to miss Freddie and all this good stuff? And he was like, no, not really. I didn't think that he was a guy who supported me during the time when he got hit by the Marlins. Remember all that drama that went on? He went back to an incident in his rookie year, some of the things that Freddie had to talk to him about, blah, 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 So then it gets all translated, right? Because he doesn't speak English, or at least he doesn't speak English when he wants to speak to the press and everything like that. He says everything that he has to say. It gets out. He claims, it was over. What I want to say. He claims that it was basically too much drama. It wasn't really what he said, and he tried to walk it all back. Okay. So then Freddie Freeman gets on MLB TV last night, and he's asked about it. And people are like, well, Freddie kind of took the high road. Okay, he came out, said, hey, my kid's going to miss him. My wife's going to miss him. I'm going to miss him. He's part of the family, blah, 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 blah. And then he got into, but the eye black and this and the hair and the jewelry and the uniform, and you got to do this and that. So basically all the things that Ronnie was ticked off about got confirmed as to, what Freddie talked to him about. So, sort of the things that Ronnie was upset about, Freddie helped confirm all of that information. My problem in this whole situation is once Ronald started walking it back, and he got on Twitter like these millennials do, these dopey millennials do. He got on Twitter and he said, blown out of proportion. It wasn't what I said. Clown face emojis and all this kind of stuff. Then he has to go and do a whole nother interview where he's walking it back saying, I didn't really say some of these things. They were out of context. Everything that athletes love to throw out there about, well, the context is wrong and this, that, and the other. Okay. That's where, to me, the problem gets in. So if Ronnie is going to really be one of the leaders of this ball club, if you're going to go on the media tour and you're going to say these kinds of things about Freddie Freeman and your former teammate and defend your actions, then you better be willing to stay with that and keep a straight and narrow path with it. I had an old boss that he always told me a great lesson. He says, always be rudder, but don't be sail. Sail is all over the place here, there, everywhere, and things like that. Be rudder. when you're going through with things. And that's what a leader has to be. You have to have a leadership that takes you in a straight, direct pathway out there. When you're backtracking and this, that, and the other, now you've pulled the attention away from what you actually said and what you meant or whatever to, well, now he's apologizing and now we're clown emojis and this, that, and the other thing. And part of that's youth. I understand. Ronnie's youthful. Ronnie's not been asked to do a whole bunch of media barrages and things like that, right? Now, here's the other funny part about this. You know, Snitker's had the same problems with him, right? Snitker's pulled him. He's benched him before. He's had his talks and stuff like that with him. Why do you think he has Freddie Freeman go to him? Because he has Freddie at the player level express the thoughts of what the organization are and things like that. Now, Ronnie may not like some of these things, and I understand that. Like I said, I don't have a problem with Ronald Acuna and what he said. And I'm sure it's true what everybody's thrown out there. But if that's the rules of the organization, if that's how they want, and we know how the Braves operate, right? Like we know exactly how the Braves operate. When they've had players come in that have been a little bit kind of on the east side, Bobby Bonilla, Gary Sheffield, Reggie Sanders, you know, guys that had a bit of a reputation of being whatever you want to say, cantankerous. How about that? There's a big word for you. They came into the Braves clubhouse and they towed the company line. And they all talked about how they love to play for Bobby and this, that, and the other. It's how the Braves do business. You can like it, you can not like it, you can agree, you can disagree, but it is how the Braves do their business. And Freddie Freeman was a mouthpiece, and that's why Snitker used Freddie to help kind of keep things like that in line. So if Ronnie is going to be one of the leaders, if you're going to go on a media tour and you're going to say these things about one of your former teammates, then you better be willing to stand up for those things and say, I said it, I meant it, this is what it is. Don't come at me with clown emojis, blown out of proportion, going back and doing another interview. Don't get me involved in all of those kinds of things. You said it, you meant it, you were asked it. Now, if you didn't want to say those things, then you could have said, hey, listen, I got nothing but love for Freddie, and, you know, we're going to miss him in the family, and moved on. You could have made it very simple. Nobody asked you to elaborate on, well, why didn't you like Freddie or this, that, and the other? You were asked the question of, are you going to miss Freddie Freeman? You could have said, oh, absolutely. Listen, we had a great relationship. You could have lied and the media wouldn't have known any different. Well, but then he'd be lying, Chuckery, because nobody cares. They only care once you give them a reason to dig into the story. And then when you go with clown emojis and backtracking and blown out of proportion and all these things, that's when you turn the story of now he's saying he didn't say this. And you got, like, I've never seen so many linguists in my entire life. They didn't translate the ancient Roman Bible in as many different languages as they translated this IG post that Ronald had with some guy. Like literally, we got people coming from, you know, from like the island of Greece that, you know, all of a sudden now we're translating his words verbatim and this, that, and the other. So you turned it into that type of story, and you made the story now about you instead of what were some of the issues and things like that you had. And look, the funny part was Freddie Freeman sort of, he didn't call Ronnie out, but he also at the same time confirmed a lot of what Ronnie said. It was, hey, you know, I love Ronnie, we're going to miss him, blah, 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 blah. And then that turned into, but, you know, there were, you know, eye black, and there was medical tape and uniforms and jewelry and socks and blah, 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 blah. So to me, it's a big nothing burger, but it's taken traction because once you start saying, I didn't say this, and you're on video saying it, that's where you get yourself in trouble. And by the way, I didn't say anything I just talked about here. This is all just a mirage or myth and anything like that. All right, when we get back, 3 things that the Falcons must improve on this season if they're going to start to turn this thing in any direction. in any direction whatsoever. Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.